Hey, it's Mike with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and it is Wednesday, it's September 13th. This will be our chart lesson for the day. And a real quick look at the daily chart. You can see we traded up today. It really was just kind of a range day, and the market's not closed yet. There's looks like there's another 30 minutes or so to go in the market before it closes. But I'm gonna do this early and get out of here. I'm still a little weak, still struggling. I'm better, getting better every day now. But I just get tired real easy, so I'm going to wrap this up and call it a day. But you can see that this looks kind of like a mixed trading range day here on the daily chart as well. And that's what you'll see when we flip over. But let's get over to the 2000 tick chart and take a look at it. And here's our 2000 tick chart. Not a lot of trades today. There's a few trades. Um, we started out in this really tight range. Once we broke out, you would look for a possible measured move, which would be this line to the downside, this line to the upside. And you can't see it because of my lines there. But once we broke out, we made a perfect measured move up to the highs, turned down to the tick, and we traded down almost back to the other side before we rallied and took about half of that back. So it looks like we're going to close up today if something crazy doesn't happen before the close. But we were all over the place today. This is what I'd call mixed trading. Um, we chopped around up here high, sold off, rallied back up here, chopped around, sold off, tried to rally back, and we just kind of stalled out at this point. So it looks like most of the trading is done for today. So there is about 35 minutes before the market closes. So we'll see what happens, but that's what it looks like as of now. But let's zoom in here. The big blue box here was 7:30 news. There were a few items this morning to do with the economy, high volatility, and you can see there was a little bit of effect there. I'd say be out, you know, 15 minutes prior to the market starting up, and you can see that we did rally down there or shoot down real fast. There was some fireworks, um, but really by 7:40 you could trade again. And we got a second entry long right off the lows down here of the original channel. Nice signal bar, plenty of room back to the EMA. I like going long there. There's a higher low here. I marked this one green, but it's you could argue for that to be blue. I just marked it green because it was still right. It still looked a little. You might still argue that hey, it's a little bit volatile just yet. But I think you were okay to take that trade. There's a higher low here, but it's an inside bar. It is right off of that support area again uh, with the higher low. But I just don't trust those inside bars. Maybe you take that trade, but I just think anytime there's an inside bar, this is truly your signal bar. So even if you'd have went long here, your stop has to go below that bar. Um, there's two legs back here and another second entry long, and again it's an inside bar, and you see what happens. It breaks higher, fails, turns back down, stops you out, and then goes exactly where you thought it would go. And that's just why I don't like those inside bars. Excuse me, I'm still having some throat problems there. But yeah, I mean, if you do enter this on the and it turns out to be an engulfing bar, my recommendation is you always move your safety stop to the next low, which would be here. But that's a lot of risk for such a small bar to take that trade like that. So it's up, if you took it and you didn't play the rules right on the engulfing bar, you got stopped out most likely. So anyway, um, runs up to it. You get two leg. Notice you got the green channel working up here. You get a break, uh, two legs up, and there's two legs in the middle of that. So you'd expect a possible measured leg. I didn't even measure it. See how close it was. It looks pretty close here. Real close to a measured leg. And then you got a second entry short here, but the signal bar is not good enough. But then you tried to go higher one more time and failed, and it does confirm that trend line. Fairly decent signal bar with 8 ticks. I like going short there. Um, it's good for a scalp. That's about it. Drops on down. And you might have even looked at this as a second entry long, because you could count this as a double top, really. So first entry, second entry, or you might even look at this as a failed break lower that came back and retest this. So if you saw it that way, maybe you take that trade. I'm not crazy about it. There's a higher low here, which you could call a second entry for sure, but it looks too congested. It's right into a trend line, and you see it turns down instantly. And I like entering short here. It breaks higher, turns down, and goes right out the other side of this bar. You could wait. You could trade it on the engulfing bar or wait till it closes. The only problem is if you wait till it closes, it doesn't break lower on the next bar, so then you're kind of using the inside bar. So if you didn't take this on the engulfing bar, maybe you don't take that trade. This one drops on down, makes a new low, and it looks like we have a channel going here. Of course, we run back up here, and we do get a close outside, and we move to a new low here, and then that's when it rallies. I don't see any way to get long down here. Again, it looks too congested. There are 3 bars there, but this one makes a high or low. So again, you'd be trading that inside bar, and I'm just not crazy about it. I don't like those inside bars. They'll trick you, and they'll mess you up. But we run up. We get a first entry, second entry right at the key entry point. It really only looks like one leg down, so you might wait and count this as the second entry. But if you entered here, I wouldn't have a problem with it. It's the first time back to the trend line. So you'll probably retest this high. This was the better trade here to wait on the second entry. There's a reversal here, but you got to go long right into the highs. You can't take that. It doesn't set up properly. That's not where you're really looking for one. And runs on up to a new high, makes another leg up. That's just a first entry long. You do get a lower high here, but I'm not crazy about that signal bar. And the last couple of times we're making a high or low each time. So I'm just not crazy about that one. And of course you do get a breakout down here, and you could count that as a first entry, second entry. But you got to go long right into what was looking like support across there. So I'm not real crazy about that one. It's one you might argue for to be green. High or low, signal bar is no good. You don't want to go long right into the midline there, and you can see you get your close outside, new high, and it comes right back down, tests the low again, then heads up. I did like this one. Notice you got a new swing low, and you get a break lower right there. So that's a first entry, and then it turns back up. So when it comes back by there again on this bar that broke higher first, that's a second entry short. You could go long on the engulfing bar or wait for this to close, because we'd been running up and down. We've been running back down to the lows almost every time, so there's a good opportunity. Odds are we're going back to the lows again. And you can see we do make a little double bottom there, and then a higher low. And I did like this one on the higher low. It also gives you a triple test right across there. And the odds are we're probably going to run back up to the other side again, which we do. And then you get a lower high right here. I marked this one green because it looks a little sideways. It's not really congestion yet, but it is sideways. But we've been running from high to low to high to low, so the odds are good that we'd probably go back to the lows again. Doesn't end up happening, but you would have got a scalp out of it. I marked it green. Depends on, it is a second entry. This is a double bottom, so first entry, second entry. It is a nice signal bar, and we had been running back and forth. I marked it, so if you took it, it works. By the skin of your teeth, but it works, and that's why we go for 4 ticks, because we've proven time and time again, if you get the setup, you usually will get the 4 ticks. So this time it does bounce off the midline, comes back up. Again, you get another double top there. That signal bar it's close and it looks congested. So I just think you skip that. And of course, then it bounces again at the midline. If this broke lower and turned up, that's going to trap people. It's a second entry long. We're probably going to run back to the highs again. We've been bouncing across there the last few times. I would not enter up here after this closes. I'd only enter on the engulfing bar. I think it would have worked either way, but you can't go long right into that resistance right there. You got to have room to get out. And the only way you can do that is to trade it on the engulfing bar. Again, it's tempting to short that on the second entry, but we did make a perfect measured move based on the original width of the range. So it's tempting to take that. It is a second entry short, but we made a new high here, so it could easily push up for another leg or two. So I think you have to skip that. You do get a lower high right here, but again, that looks too congested. There is room to get out there. You know, if your signal bar looks a little better, maybe you take that, but I just don't like the congestion right there. And we run back down to the lows, and we just kind of bounce across there before the bottom falls out. And you don't really get a chance to go short here. All the way down, it's just a first entry there, sideways, and then it bounces. And there is a reversal here. Notice your new low, you go short once, you go up, you go short again. So if it breaks above there as a failure. So maybe you take that looking for a second leg up, measured leg up, and maybe we're coming, you know, we're done to the low side, and we're going to head back up, at least test the highs of this range. And that's pretty much what happens. We actually go a little bit higher before it's over. And that takes us into 230. So yeah, not much happening there. Fairly weak day of just choppy, mixed trading. And you got to be real careful in this stuff. It's easy to get chopped up. So just be careful when you trade this. But yeah, there's not much more I can say about today. It was just kind of an ugly mixed trading day. But anyway, tomorrow's Thursday, so if I can get through tomorrow, we'll have got through the week, even though I'm not feeling the best. I am improving. Like I said yesterday, I'm getting better every day. It just doesn't take much to wear me out, to tire me down. So I'm going to wrap this up and go home, and most likely we'll be back tomorrow for kind of the same kind of thing tomorrow. I'll probably come in just in time to do the mid-morning report and try to do a little work and then do a chart lesson, and then we'll call it a week. So anyway, I'm going to wrap it up for today. This is Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and we'll